I want you to picture two apartments. Same city, same neighborhood, almost identical rent. Walk into the first one, and you'll find a 75-inch television mounted on the wall, a leather sectional that cost $4,000, a kitchen full of appliances still in their original boxes, closets overflowing with clothes, tags still attached, a spare bedroom that's technically storage now. This person makes $95,000 a year, and they check their bank account with a knot in their stomach because they're 2 missed paychecks away from a crisis. Walk into the second apartment, and you'll notice space, a modest couch, a reasonably sized TV, a kitchen with exactly the tools that actually get used, a closet where every piece of clothing gets worn. The spare bedroom is still a bedroom. This person makes $52,000 a year, almost half as much, and they check their account with something closer to calm because they've got 18 months of expenses saved, and they're investing 20% of every paycheck. Same neighborhood. The person earning nearly half as much has close to 10 times the financial security. And here's the thing that should stop you. The first person isn't bad with money in any obvious way. No gambling, no secret debt spiral, no expensive addiction. They just gradually accumulated a lifestyle that quietly requires every single dollar they earn to maintain it.
My name is Mabest, and today I want to walk you through the rules that separate people who always seem to have money from people who never do, regardless of what they earn. This isn't about deprivation. It's about something almost nobody calculates correctly: what your stuff actually costs you. Here's the concept that's going to change how you look at every purchase for the rest of your life. Everything you own costs money twice. The first cost is obvious. It's the receipt, the number you paid at checkout. But there's a second cost, and it's often bigger than the first, and almost nobody adds it up. The second cost is storage, maintenance, mental energy, and opportunity cost, all stacked on top of that receipt, silently, for as long as you own the thing. That treadmill in the corner needs floor space. Space costs somewhere between $30 and $50 per square foot annually in most cities. A treadmill eats up about 20 square feet once you count clearance room. That's $600 to $1,000 a year in implicit rent, paid to store exercise equipment that mostly holds laundry.
That boat in the driveway needs winterizing, cleaning, registration, insurance, and occasional repairs. Industry estimates put annual maintenance at roughly 10% of the boat's value. A $30,000 boat costs $3,000 a year just to exist in your driveway, whether it touches water or not. And then there's the cost almost nobody names: mental energy. Every object you own takes up a sliver of your attention. It needs cleaning, organizing, insuring, worrying about, eventually disposing of. Researchers have found that visual clutter actually raises cortisol levels and makes it measurably harder to focus. Your stuff is quietly stressing you out in ways you can't consciously feel. Last piece: opportunity cost. Every dollar tied up in a possession is a dollar that isn't invested. That $15,000 home gym could have been $15,000 in index funds, growing toward $50,000 or more over 15 years. You didn't just buy a home gym. You bought a home gym instead of a chunk of your own future freedom.
Add it all up, and a lot of things cost more to own than they cost to buy. The price tag is just the entry fee. So let's get into the rules. Not 10 of them, the 5 that actually move the needle. Rule 1, calculate cost per use before you buy anything. Before any purchase, estimate honestly how many times you'll actually use it. Divide the price by that number. That's the only number that tells you the truth. A $200 jacket worn twice costs $100 per wear. A $400 jacket worn 200 times costs $2 per wear. The expensive jacket is actually the cheaper one in any way that matters. This single calculation kills most impulse purchases on contact. That $300 kitchen gadget you'll use twice a year is $150 per use. Meanwhile, a $30 tool you reach for weekly costs pennies per use. The math cuts straight through the marketing and the emotion and tells you what's actually true.
Rule 2, run the replacement test on everything you already own. Walk through your home and ask one honest question about each item. If this disappeared today, would I actually spend money to replace it? Be honest. Would you rebuy the fondue set, the bread maker collecting dust, the clothes you haven't touched in 18 months? For most items, the honest answer is no. And that's important because those items have negative value. They cost you space and mental energy and cleaning time without giving anything back. They're not there because you chose them. They're there because you never got around to removing them. Sell what has value. Donate what someone else could use.
use. Let go of the rest. It feels uncomfortable for about a day. Then it feels like your rooms got bigger because they did, functionally, even though the square footage didn't change. Rule 3, never upgrade something that still works just because you're bored of it. This is the one that quietly wrecks people who earn good money and somehow still have nothing to show for it. The phone works fine, but the new one has a slightly better camera. The car runs perfectly, but the new model looks nicer. The TV does everything a TV needs to do, but the new one has marginally better contrast. These upgrades feel like progress. They're actually wealth walking out the door disguised as improvement. The average person replaces their phone every 2 to 3 years, often while the old one still works fine. Over 30 years, that habit alone costs $30,000 to $50,000. Apply that same pattern across every category where upgrade culture operates, and the lifetime total easily clears $200,000.
The rule that fixes this is simple. Functional means functional. Boredom isn't failure. The existence of a newer model isn't failure. Actual mechanical breakdown is failure. Everything else is marketing convincing you to solve a problem you don't have. Rule 4, make spending require friction and make saving require none. Human behavior follows the path of least resistance. Full stop. If spending is one tap and saving takes effort, you will spend. If saving happens automatically and spending takes effort, you will save. The people who consistently build wealth aren't relying on willpower. They're relying on their environment doing the work for them. That looks like deleting the saved card numbers from shopping apps, a 24-hour rule before any non-essential purchase, unsubscribing from the promotional emails, and on the other side, automatic transfers to investing on payday before you ever see the number in checking. Willpower runs out by the end of a long day. Systems don't. Someone white-knuckling their way past impulse purchases will eventually lose that fight when they're tired or stressed. Someone who already deleted the app simply can't lose it because the option isn't there to begin with. That 24-hour rule alone eliminates something like 70% of impulse purchases because most desire for a thing fades within a day if you don't act on it immediately. Rule 5, measure your wealth by what you can choose, not by what you own. This is the one that actually reframes everything else. The conventional measure of wealth is stuff, the house, the car, the visible markers. But the real measure is optionality. Can you leave a job that's wrecking your mental health? Could you take 6 months off for a family emergency? Could you say no to well-paying work that compromises what you actually care about? Those options only exist for people who've built real margin between what they earn and what they spend. Someone earning $200,000 a year but spending $195,000 has almost none of that freedom. They're chained to the number on their paycheck, no matter how big it looks from the outside. Someone earning $80,000 and spending $45,000 has enormous optionality. They can absorb a bad year. They can take a risk. They can choose based on what they want, not what they're forced into. Every purchase, seen this way, isn't just an exchange of money for an object. It's a trade of a little bit of your future freedom for a little bit of present stuff. Sometimes that trade is worth it. Most of the time, if you're honest, it isn't.
So back to those 2 apartments. The one belonging to someone earning $52,000 a year with 18 months of savings didn't get there through exceptional income. They got there through exceptional clarity about what actually mattered to them. The other apartment, the one 2 missed paychecks ago in crisis, belongs to someone who never once questioned the assumption that more stuff equals a better life. Both of those lifestyles are available to you, no matter what you currently earn. The only real question is whether you want to own your possessions or whether you're quietly letting your possessions own you. If this video changed how you're looking at your own closet or garage right now, hit that like button, subscribe if you want more videos on the psychology behind money instead of just the math of it. And tell me in the comments, what's the one item you own right now that would fail the replacement test? I read every single one. I'm Mabist, and I'll see you in the next one.